podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Hi everyone. As if being off for weeks because I was ill wasn't enough, I recorded the whole of this show using the wrong microphone on my laptop, so apologies if my side of this sounds terrible. Normal service will be resumed next week. Now, on to the show.
So, Paul, I described your voice as sounding rather like Pat Butcher on having chain smoked 60 Rothmans. Are you feeling better yet?
Yeah, I'm definitely on the mend. There was definitely a Pat Butcher phase. There was also like a strange adenoidal phase that lasted.
Some people don't believe this is real. They think it was fake news. Were you actually ill?
Listen, all I can offer is my reputation for integrity.
Maybe destroyed.
Solid, it's solid, man.
There were several theories out there. Some people thought you might have gone to jail.
No. I haven't really got an alibi though, because I've mostly just been on my own the whole time. I've seen people.
Are you dead?
No, alive and well. This is not a Paul is dead situation. Ed doesn't replace me with a sound-alike. Ed is well into artificial intelligence though, so if I ever do die,
it won't be long.
No one will know.
Yeah. A couple of minutes of Rancast recordings and we can fake you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you will suddenly turn into a gun-toting Second Rights Amendment GOP activist.
Okay.
No, you won't.
No, thanks. All I ask is when I die, you keep the fake voice of me in line with my ethical beliefs.
Yeah. We I said at the top of the show there, we're going to talk a little bit about Mourinho. It's a little bit old, isn't it now? Mourinho's double rant, God. I think it's fair to say. But what was your take? Mourinho, he had a go at the fans for not making enough noise. And then he had a rant about performance levels versus spending. And what else did he say after, before and after Sevilla? Basically defending his approach, which he's been doing this week again, actually, defending his approach and results. The
one that really got me was the post-match. The pre-match was dumb, but the one that really got, and all the Luke Shaw stuff has been absolutely horrendous. Mourinho's just a sort of horrible bully, really. Although, we don't know exactly what happened behind the scenes. But Mourinho's 12-minute garbage after the Sevilla defeat, which was, let's not mess around, a total disgrace. The players should be ashamed of themselves, the manager should be ashamed of himself. It was properly pathetic, that performance. But the really annoying thing about the Mourinho's 12-minute rant was actually a sort of vaguely serious, broad cultural point about how just shouting stuff, whether or not it has any basis in the truth or any relevance to the argument, has become what passes for public discourse now. And there are very real life consequences of this. That's the thing that annoyed me about Mourinho's rant. Not because football doesn't matter ultimately, but it's just so the whole basis of his argument, this football heritage and the fact that United haven't been good in the Champions League for 5 years. If we'd just lost in the semi-final to Barcelona and everyone was slagging him off, then that argument would be completely valid. But to be garbage against a deeply average upper mid-table La Liga team, that has got nothing to do with football heritage.
Well, not just garbage, but defensive as well. Mourinho had his team playing like the away side in both legs. even at home after a 0-0. You know, it was the game that convinced me that Mourinho's approach is antiquated. Not that I probably wasn't convinced already, but this is exactly how teams might have played 15 years ago in the Champions League. You know, when Mourinho first came to prominence, and that's what his Porto side did. You know, they were tight. He played had plenty of dirty tricks up their sleeves, and they caught teams on the break. But this was Manchester United, as you say, against a pretty average La Liga side, decent, but struggled to score, as we saw for most of that game. We approached it in an extremely negative fashion. Now, look, there are nuances around parking the bus. It wasn't 8 at the back, the kind of tactics we expect to see against City at the weekend. But it was certainly way, way more cautious than was necessary for this kind of game, and it gave Sevilla more respect than they deserved. Respect, of course, which, Mourinho showed none of to the fans. And it was a really odd rant, about going out in the group phase in 2012 and out the last 16 in 2013. No heritage, which I'm going to take as a mistranslation.
Yeah.
But he stretched it out over 7 years. And focused on European football, and focused on managerial changes. So he's not talking about the team he inherited, actually, which might have been the word he was trying to use, because the team he inherited finished the season on the same number of points as Manchester City. And now we're looking at a 16-point gap, right? Great legacy he's going to leave.
He sort of listed a load of good players that City had got when they took over. He talked about Otamendi, De Bruyne. I mean, first of all, Otamendi was playing like an absolute train wreck and has been kind of fixed by his manager, it's fair to say. But nevertheless, plenty of good players at United when Mourinho arrived. And Pogba comes before he even kicks the ball. Zlatan comes before he even kicks the ball. It's just it's just self-serving nonsense, and it really, really got to me. I mean, I did have quite a raging fever at the time, so that definitely helped. But it was just it was just so self-serving and inaccurate. I mean, I just wanted someone in that room to say, "Oh, how you talked about them getting knocked out in 2012-13? Didn't you say they were the better side in that match against your all-conquering Galactico Real Madrid?" I mean, not Galactico as in original first go round, but Mourinho literally out his own words said that United were a better side than his side when they played each other in 2013. So
yes, well, much is the public discourse these days. You can say one thing and deny it seconds later.
Yeah.
And apparently that's okay. He is the Donald Trump of football management.
But genuinely, all joking aside, that really was literally what that press conference. I know so there's a small fraction of our listeners that get very upset when we talk about politics. Well, I think we've weeded most of them out, and they just don't listen to the show anymore, which is highly preferable. But it really was that exact kind of paradigm of narcissism of all that matters is that I win. It doesn't matter if my team wins or the fans that I'm paid to represent win or my players win. All that matters is that I win.
Yeah. I mean, look, of course, you could say United made the bed and they've got to lie in it, because not much of what Mourinho's has gone on about recently is a surprise, really, in the broad scheme of things. I thought the really worrying part, the bit that had me convinced for a while that Mourinho, not that he was going off the rails, but that he was approaching scorched earth, was when he was asked about whether his constant criticism of his own players could backfire, and he said yes, but what have I got to lose? And I have to, I've got to say he's got to lose his job, but maybe he thinks the hierarchy are so desperate and so lacking in vision that he's safe, and he probably is. Look, United are likely to finish second, Depending on how many points are dropped after the league is over this weekend, and how well Liverpool perform towards the end of the season, I suppose. So likely to finish second. It may be close. And from Mourinho, he's going to be able to play out a narrative which will be accepted by many people that this was successful. Of course, we know there's a lot more nuance to that than just results. United have played pretty garbage pretty often this season. There have just been those sparks of good stuff, but it's been very infrequent and almost non-existent against good teams.
Well, we beat Chelsea and Liverpool recently. Not magnificent performances by any stretch of the imagination, but something to potentially hang your hat on, And then this is
tactically, the victory against Liverpool was sound. I mean, he got it spot on in terms of how to play Liverpool. He played the only thing that was a surprise about that game was that Fellaini didn't start, so he'd go direct. But basically, the tactics were exactly that. Try and bypass the high press.
Yeah.
And it was pretty predictable in terms of that is almost Mourinho's plan B. If plan A is just the low block, plan A and a half. To mix my numbering and lettering schemes, is to play the low block and go a bit direct. So, but it's not really how any top side anywhere plays.
The mad thing about it is he could if he played this season differently, like the results and the performance had been identical, but Mourinho's tack had been different, he could have created such a massive feel-good factor around this season. If he just was a bit nicer about his players, a bit more emphasis from him on the progress that the squad and the team and all that was making, and because he sells them down the river any second he can, apart from his few little favourites. So we haven't spoken since the Nemanja Matic was an island of class, and I can't even remember which game that was. That was Palace, maybe? Maybe was it? Well, the one that Shaw played the first half and got hooked at half time. I think maybe that was
Brighton, wasn't it?
Was it? Okay, yeah, right. What was the result in that game?
2-0.
Okay, to us or them?
Yeah. Okay. 2-0. You really have been
really properly not well.
Yeah. United won 2-0. Okay. It was, an okay performance. And it's one of those games where Matic does stand out because he didn't get any pressure.
Right.
Lukaku scored a nice opening goal, and Matic scored late on to seal the win.
Right, and that was 2 games in a row where Matic has scored, because he'd scored the winner against Palace, which, by the way, we haven't talked about that game, one of Manchester United's worst ever performances for 60 minutes, and then they just kind of came to life and were excellent.
I actually think the international break recently came at an opportune time, because I mean you're talking about he could have created a much different narrative around the team, and I totally agree. I mean, he's created almost all the negativity. I think it would have been very different if United were playing a Mourinho ball, but he was saying, look, it's the process, we're trying to get there. We're trying to improve. Good football's coming. But he's gone on the attack. He's attacked the club. He's attacked the fans. He's attacked almost all his players except for his favourites. He's attacked the press and tried to delegitimise. That's the way it goes these days, right? So all of that kind of built up. Brighton wasn't a great game or a great performance. It was a good win. Against a half decent Brighton side, but exactly the kind of team that does fall to this Mourinho team. We've had the 10-day break, come back, Swansea at home, always going to beat Swansea at home, and it's allowed some of that to dissipate.
Yeah, we're definitely better than Swansea. I'm prepared to go on record as saying whatever else is going on, at least we're better than Swansea now, which was up for debate for a little while now. A very fine first half indeed.
Actually one of the best halves that United have played this season. I mean, probably if it had been 3 or 4-0, that wouldn't have been against the sort of pattern of the first half.
No, there was a point in the second half where you're thinking, maybe we should have made it 3 or 4-0. When after Mata missed that spinny chance that he had, stop trying to score worldies, Juan, just tap one in, make it 3-0. We needed that against Liverpool too. And De Gea made those 2 good saves in the second half. But the the first goal's lovely. So he played 4-2-3-1 with Lingard, Mata and Alexis behind Lukaku in the world's most kind of tactically flexible three behind a striker ever, like the three of them. That's a lot of intelligent movement from Lingard and Mata, and then Alexis's kind of skill and energy. It's a decent balance, and of course it's stupid that he signed Alexis to replace Martial and Rashford. But if you've having signed Alexis, this is kind of the way to play him, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I actually thought I'm not sure Mata will get huge plaudits for his game, but I think his intelligence helps make that system. Lingard is the number one choice at number 10 now, and the right one, I think. I mean, we haven't talked about it, but he was very good for England as well, More's a pity. We don't want too many United players getting burnt out over the summer, do we?
A friend of the show, Cal Gildart, saying his love for Jesse Lingard had grown exponentially because he hardly really celebrated when he scored for England, whereas when he scores for Man United, he goes absolutely nuts. So it's like, good, well done, Jesse. Priorities in order.
Yeah, and I do quite like that it boils an awful lot of piss that Jesse Lingard is not only good for United but good for England, but he's United's best choice at number 10 at the moment. He gives you what Mourinho wants there, which is a runner with the ball and off the ball. So that's right, and trying to fit in Martial and Rashford appears to be difficult in the way that Mourinho wants to play. It's a hell of a lot of wasted talent, got to say, hell of a lot just to sit there. But we'll see how that plays out next season, I guess. But pretty flexible against Swansea, lots of one-touch football around the box, more chances than were actually taken, obviously. And allowed Mourinho to make some changes at the end, resting them for the big game at the weekend, I guess.
Pogba back inside, which is nice to see after...
Pogba back in the side against a team that's okay in midfield, but no heavy hitters at all there. I mean, in the Swansea midfield. So we'll see at the weekend whether he's prepared to play Pogba in a 2 in central midfield or whether he switches that up.
He's not playing a 2 in central midfield on Saturday, isn't he? Just the whole Pogba stuff, obviously that was going on before we stopped recording, but we worked out it was the whole of March that we didn't do a show, and March was really March madness with Mourinho and Pogba, just absolute nonsense from the manager, just awful man management and costing a player like Pogba. I mean, of all the players that you treat with kid gloves, that you nurture and cherish to get the best performance out of, like the idea, this kind of nonsense Mourinho management through conflict, the idea that could work on Paul Pogba is just laughable. So
no, and it's another one of the reasons, apart from the tactics, it's another one of the reasons why Mourinho feels a bit antiquated.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if Ferguson came back right now, he'd seem more modern. And this is the contrast here with how Ferguson managed different personalities it couldn't be starker, could it? Mourinho is the route one of management.
Although,
and that's not about his tactics, that's about how he manages his players. It's one way and it's one way only.
Of all the players to kind of cite Ferguson's excellent man management,
yeah, true. I'll take that one.
But yeah, no, I mean it's utterly dispiriting. I'm sure there are plenty of arch Mourinho sympathisers listening who are annoyed by the tone of this conversation, maybe believe some of what he said about the squad and all that. And
there are plenty who believe what has been said. Yeah, plenty, you extricated yourself from the world into social media, but I hear and see it.
Yeah,
so.
It's great not hearing it or seeing it because you can pretend it's not happening. But like I said, the thing about that 12-minute rant, when I was watching it or listening to it after the fact, one of my overwhelming thoughts was there are going to be people who there are going to be people buying what Mourinho is selling here that want to hashtag believe, but I'm not particularly advocating for Mourinho to be sacked because, like you said earlier, I'm not sure there's anyone at the club with the vision to build, but it's just the idea that Mourinho is going to go toe to toe with Guardiola next season, and it will be a different picture. I don't see it. What 2 or 3 additions? What kind of let's say it's an amazing transfer window and you bring in 5 players and get rid of 4 or something. Like, is that going to make the difference? And if it does, what? First of all, it's just not going to happen anyway. We're not going to buy 5 first-team players this summer. It's nonsense. Bought 3 last summer, and that's, and that was Mourinho identified. He wanted 4 new players, and he got 3, and now he spent all season moaning about not having the players he wants. So he's pathetic. He's acting pathetic and managing kind of pathetic too. And we're going to end up finish second in the league. Maybe we'll fluke the FA Cup or even win it in style because he's still got it in a one-off game. But I don't know. It's dispiriting and very.
Well, Spurs away in the cup semi-final.
Yeah.
So we'll see about that one because it didn't go so well last time we faced Spurs at Wembley. Did it? I mean, I got the impression that Mourinho was auditioning for the remake of Falling Down. It was. It was total scorched earth.
Yeah.
That rant and subsequent ones. He's had another one this weekend where he's saying everyone tells me that Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs. Well, he didn't name them, but 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th are better than us. Well, they're not because we're second. Unfortunately, that tells a very, very narrow picture of how the season has actually gone.
Well, I mean, he's right about Chelsea, and he's definitely right about Arsenal. We're definitely way better as both a club and a team than both of them. Spurs, I don't know, is a strange thing, and Liverpool, where Liverpool are at right now is kind of still quite difficult to assess, isn't it? But anyway, should we? Zlatan's gone. That happened. And then he went to Los Angeles and came off the bench and scored the equaliser and a winner in a 4-3 win because he's a ridiculous human.
Yeah. 35-yarder volley. Absolute worldie. And then got in front of his man to score the winner with a header. Offside. But, we'll give him that one. It's probably a foul for the first one as well. Not him, but his colleague who won the header. But Zlatan is Zlatan. His quote after the game where he said, they were calling for me, so I gave them Zlatan. Yeah,
they were chanting, we want Zlatan, so I gave them Zlatan. That man is good at talking and good at football. We did all our Zlatan eulogies when he left the first time. So he hasn't added anything to his United legacy by staying, but it was fun having him around the first time around.
Yeah, it was, yeah. I mean, if you want to be cruel, you'd say it was an awful decision to give him a new contract. Wrapped up in some emotion, I think, but it wasted about £15 million.
Can you really say it's wasted if we gave it to Zlatan Ibrahimovic? Doesn't he deserve an extra £15 million?
No, I don't think he needs it. Swansea, Brighton wins, Sevilla, devastating loss, Liverpool 2-1 win, ugly, Crystal Palace awful until Nemanja Matic came up with a worldie.
Yeah, that Liverpool win, it wasn't ugly in the same way that the Chelsea win was ugly. Like, Liverpool were never battering us. In fact, in the Chelsea game, they were
Liverpool barely created a chance.
No,
United were very effective defensively.
Yeah, Ashley Young did a heck of a number on Mo Salah, which was a surprising sentence to say. And just nice that Romelu Lukaku, did he score in that game? I can't remember if he scored in that game, but he battered Chelsea, didn't he? Good to see the kind of big game criticisms falling away a little bit for Lukaku, which is nice.
Yeah, he's got 25 in all competitions this season and more for Belgium on top of that. He's just come up with his 100th Premier League goal.
15 and 30 in the league, so 1 and 2 exactly. Not bad.
Yeah, which is okay. And he's got a couple in the big games. Not enough. I mean, you'd say for the kind of player we want, his record is pretty good, but you'd want improvement on it. And he's 24, so maybe we'll get it. He's been around the block quite a lot, obviously for a 24-year-old. But he's right up there with his peers in terms of speed. He's got to those 100 and age as well. Yeah. He's only a few days short of the age Wayne Rooney was when he got 100. So And let's hope the second half of Lukaku's career is rather better than Rooney's second half.
Yeah, let's hope he didn't just peak with that 100th goal. I've sort of basically as defensive of Romelu Lukaku as I would be of an extended family member. You know, I've got no capacity to be unbiased. The kind of the ridiculous nature of the coverage of Romelu Lukaku makes me go ridiculous in the opposite direction. And he had that one really bad spell, didn't he? Halfway through the season, and then he's really got over that and really come into his own. He's in excellent form at the moment, and it's lovely to see. And there's definitely been like tangible, noticeable improvements in his game this season, which is quite something to watch.
Yeah, and we'll see. Look, with the it's interesting last few Premier League games for United. So there's obviously City and Arsenal, and should we play Spurs again? No, it's just a cup semi, isn't it?
Yeah. Nah. Have we played? Oh yeah, we have played Spurs away. They absolutely tonked us, and we beat them 1-0 with that Martial goal from the Lukaku header from De Gea.
Yeah, so there's a bit of there's the City game, and then it would be interesting because it's West Brom, Bournemouth, then the cup semi-final, Arsenal, Brighton, Watford in the league. So there's quite a lot of trash there.
Get a lot of hat-tricks and overtake Salah and Kane.
Yeah, unlikely, I'd say. But, it's reasonable to say he could get to 20 Premier League goals, which would be a decent return.
Yeah.
I think. And, you say that should happen. We'll see how United react. No Champions League, Premier League gone after the weekend, chances are. I mean, it's gone already, hasn't it?
Yes.
So how much of those West Brom, Bournemouth, Arsenal, Brighton and Watford games really matter?
Well, it's funny, isn't it? Because top four is guaranteed. Well, it's not guaranteed, but top four is basically sewn up because of Chelsea's very hilarious implosion. But never mind second, third is vital, isn't it? It's so important not to finish fourth if you're going to get them.
Yeah, and there's only 4 points there, so momentum is important, but not guaranteed, I'd say. I mean, we saw it dropped off last season. It should United, lose convincingly at the weekend. All focus will be on the FA Cup. Yeah, we'll see where it goes.
It's a bit different, isn't it, the FA Cup than the Europa League, because nothing rides on the FA Cup other than winning the FA Cup in and of itself. Like when we were focusing on the Europa League, that was Mourinho's assessment of the best way to get in the Champions League. Should we take some listener questions?
All right, let's do a few questions then. Sorry if I don't get to your question. We did discuss this on the pod, and I now somewhat regret setting up an auto-tweet because for the last 4 weeks that we haven't recorded, I've promised everyone that we have. Yeah, so people are sick of the boy crying wolf. They'll be surprised when this actually comes out.
Yeah.
So friend of the show, Simon Stevens, says, which of the petulant Jose sales, past and future, do you think we're going to regret the most? Memphis, Shaw, Pogba, Martial? It's going to be Martial, isn't it?
God, Martial for Bale rumours, and I am crying into me cornflakes. Like, that is the worst of all rumours.
That would be mental.
Yeah.
Mental.
I mean,
I do wonder whether Bale will ever become the player he once was. I mean, he's just had so many injuries, and that blunts players.
I mean, he's a fine player, and certainly at his pump, a superb player. But yeah, it's a really significant worry. But never mind that. Just obviously, I would swap Martial for Messi, obviously, but I wouldn't like it. I just want to see Anthony Martial's Manchester United career flourish and grow and become the beautiful flower that it should be.
Will he outlast Mourinho? I
hope so. I mean, I hope they all outlast Mourinho. Sure, Pogba, a lot of them. I hope somebody coming, because Memphis is not Mourinho's fault. Memphis is Van Gaal's fault.
And Memphis's fault.
Yes,
he seems to be getting it together. He's having a good season at Lyon.
Yes, I think mid-tier, big fish in small pond and medium-sized pond is about right for Memphis. For now, anyway. But I don't know. It's just the fact that Mourinho is isolating Pogba and not particularly treating Martial brilliantly. It's so stupid.
Yeah. All right. So with this reported massive rebuilding of the squad scheduled for the summer, asked Fergus Lockhart 1 on Twitter, who are the players that United have to keep? Who does Mourinho see as indispensable? Any ones that he signed, I think.
De Gea,
except for Pogba.
De Gea, Matic, Lukaku. Those are the ones that he sees as indispensable, apparently.
Yeah. I do wonder, I guess... come next week, we won't have much to talk about other than the transfer window, so we can start that in earnest. So, yeah, I mean, he's going to sign 2 fullbacks and a central defender in the summer, is what I predict. Or I guess a midfielder, because we'll see. I still think Fellaini will end up signing a contract, because really, he's going to get more money elsewhere, and Mourinho absolutely loves him.
It's like a new signing.
Like his firstborn.
Like a new signing, Fellaini signing a new contract, will be. That's what we'll be told. No, it's not.
I know it's the honest talking and probably you're a bit tired, but you're sounding like Marvin the Depressed Robot.
Sorry about that,
Hitchhiker's Guide. at that thought. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think Matic, Sanchez, De Gea, Lukaku are his men.
I'm not sure. I'm not convinced about Sanchez. You know, I'm not convinced that Mourinho won't at some point chuck Sanchez under a bus.
Well, he might well do. Whether, well, you know, paying him between £300,000 and £500,000 a week, depending on who you believe. Quite who could afford that is, absolutely nobody. Here's one for you, I think, Paul, given the 20-odd minute rant we had about Mourinho at the start of the show.
Okay.
VJ_Rajan1 asks, do you want Mourinho to stay? And if not, who's going to replace him?
My honest answer to both of those questions is I don't know. Because I do think there's a solid argument to say that a third season of Mourinho, particularly if he can find some... You said I sound like Marvin the paranoid android. That's Mourinho's life. It's Jose the paranoid robot. So if he can find some sort of spark, I don't think it's impossible that he could do something. I don't know, he could turn it around somehow. Although he's not really in the history of going into slumps and then pulling himself out of them. That's not really been his MO. It's normally start strong and then fall apart. I don't think I could say, honestly, with my hand on my heart, that I want him to stay. But I'm not like... It's not like when Moyes went, when it was just a complete relief and delight. Or even when Van Gaal went, when it felt kind of long overdue and sensible. Mourinho going is much more ambivalent because we're sort of running out of options a little bit, and we have to. I mean, my current working theory is that United have to luck into an incredibly charismatic, talented, future-oriented manager, and that'll have to be by luck rather than judgment, given the powers that be.
Yeah, I actually don't see any vision at the top to not go for something obvious.
Yeah,
you know, let's just call Moyes the biggest mistake in the history of the club, perhaps in the history of the world itself.
Yeah,
I think you called him on WhatsApp the worst human in history.
Yes, I mean, I was.
We had a slight debate about whether we should run a bracket on that one.
I mean, I was. It's fair to say, being fairly tongue in cheek. What happens on the WhatsApp stays on the WhatsApp.
I thought that was fair to share.
Okay.
With Chelsea versus Spurs result, do you think the top 4 is now secure? Asked Sega F. Hussein on Twitter.
What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think so. United really have to blow up. And given that we're playing quite a lot of dross, City aside, and I'm including Arsenal in that dross, it would have to be a really massive blow up. I mean, was it 8 points to Chelsea, something like that? 4 to Liverpool, Spurs. Yeah, it seems really unlikely. I think top 4's good now. It's sounding like Arsenal fans here.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Chelsea lost that game and they lost to us was absolutely massive for them. I think top 4 is nailed on because we've hardly stumbled against small teams all season. You know, there's been a couple of big results in the fact that we beat Chelsea and Liverpool, and even that Palace comeback. The fact that we dug out a 2-0 win against Brighton, even though we weren't playing very well. These are all the kind of things that make top 4 finishes. You know, and that there's some degree of significance to all that, which shouldn't be overlooked in terms of the club's temperament and the squad's temperament and ability and all that kind of stuff. But the Sevilla game kind of hangs heavy over it all a bit, and so does some of the style of some of those victories. But in terms of top four, I've certainly not seen anything that makes me think we're going to throw that away.
Yeah. Carrick replacements, question marks, asked Gurpreet Singh on Twitter. That's GURPR33T_Singh. I just wonder whether, Matic is already the replacement and he might look for a different type of midfielder to complement what we've got in the summer. I guess the bigger question is, Carrick's definitely retiring. Whether Fellaini stays will make a difference in terms of buying another one. Is he going to bin Herrera? Would seem likely, and that will he bin Pogba? Less likely. Can he devise a system, get more out of Pogba? And probably the more likely purchase, if it's one midfielder, is more of a kind of box-to-box style midfielder, though, of course, Mourinho wouldn't like to classify it like that.
Yeah. And, of course, there's always Scott McTominay to replace Michael Carrick.
Yeah, jury's still a little out on McTominay.
Yeah.
He's picked Scotland. Good for McTominay.
Mourinho,
about as much chance of winning the World Cup as if he'd picked England.
Mourinho was really gung-ho about that, and then he went to watch him play in Scotland, which was funny. I think, I don't know whether... if we're potentially speculating on Carrick goes, Herrera goes, Fellaini goes, all in the same summer, he's got to buy, and we're short of numbers in midfield already. He'd be talking about buying 4 midfielders in if that happens. Well, it's very unlikely, isn't it? I think Herrera will stay, partly because Carrick's going in. Also there's a good player in there, isn't there?
Yeah. Timothy Fosu mentioned Andres Pereira should be our 6 and 8 next season. # sorry, no question here.
Wow.
Us at Red from Z.
Fair play.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Don't know. Pereira's not exactly lit up La Liga. He's been okay, but he's been playing mostly off the left, occasionally off the right, and not too often at 8. I'd say almost never. Fosu Mendes has had a decent season at Palace in a pretty average team. Playing
at right back mostly, right?
Mostly at right back.
Yeah. So a big leap to say there'd be our 6 and 8 next season. If Van Gaal was the manager, totally different situation.
Ed, what is the one quality you like in Mourinho? ? Asked Vivek Sheshadri.
Great question.
That's Mavvivek. K on Twitter. One quality I like in Mourinho. Well, he wins trophies.
You like it when he's funny as well, and you like it when he sides.
But he's not often that anymore.
No.
The barbs at opposition managers, that's amusing. Yeah. When he took on Conte and absolutely destroyed him, that was quite amusing. It's when he takes on his own fans, or the club's fans, and his own players. Less amusing.
Yeah.
Less amusing. I don't like much of his methodology, his way of being a manager.
I'm stopping you here.
Or the way his team plays. Sorry.
What was the question? Was the question list some things that you don't like about Mourinho? No, it was not.
I'm simply, it's a deductive method. I'm simply removing all the things I don't like to try and get to the one quality I do like. The trophies. Yeah. That's his one redeeming quality.
Yeah.
At Leo EPD says, who can you see as a realistic replacement for Moo? See, we're not driving the agenda. It's the listeners. This is what they're... Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, if there was a standout... The one thing I'd say is that I don't think there's a whole load of vision at the club. So if Mourinho... He's not going this summer. He's definitely not. No. But if he completely went into scorched earth territory next season and the team blew up, which has happened before in season number 3, obviously, and he was binned in mid-season. I can imagine the club only going for an experienced, seasoned manager only. I don't believe they'd take a risk on Poch or on Tuchel or any other kind of younger managers around Europe.
I think also Pochettino is not going to leave Spurs mid-season to go to United, especially not at the beginning of the first season in a new stadium. It's very unlikely. I read Balaguer's Pochettino Diaries, which I highly recommend reading. It's a very, very, very entertaining read. He comes across as a sort of fascinatingly complex character, Pochettino. Tuchel, like, who knows whether that would work? It'd be a total gamble. I mean, people think he's probably good is about the size of it, isn't it?
Yeah, and Spurs have been a little up and down this season. Obviously, their squad is thinner than some of the others around the top four. They were excellent against Chelsea, although I don't know how much of a barometer that is, really.
No, but they were excellent against Chelsea. They were excellent against us.
They were also excellent against Juve. I mean, they were a kick either way from going through. Yeah. So, I mean, I know Juve kind of managed the in-game situations probably better. But you know, Spurs were the better side over the two legs.
Didn't that strike you a little bit as like mid-90s Fergie in the European Cup? Just not quite got the experience yet, but it's coming. Something like that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Adam, so 50-50 on
friend of
Twitter.
Old-time, long-time friend of the show.
Asks, do you think the man management component of being MUFC boss is as difficult as Mourinho is making it look?
No.
That's a Mourinho-esque barb, that is, gotta say.
It's good, it's real good. Managing a squad of 20 millionaires is incredibly, psychologically complicated, but it could definitely be done a lot better and a lot simpler. And Guardiola's doing a man management job just up the road, and Guardiola has next to no real human man management skills. There's a lot of. He's a very deeply odd person, but he gets around the man management by building a team that knows it's going to win under him and knows it's going to do it while kind of gaining huge plaudits for the quality of play whilst improving every single player in the squad. So there is an alternative to sophisticated Fergie-esque man management.
Sure, yeah, but could he do it, as manager of Salford on a cold, wet Tuesday?
It's yes. Salford would probably be a lot better if Pep Guardiola was their manager.
See, I don't think Pep will be the complete manager until he goes down to the non-leagues. I'm just not having it. His legacy is tarnished without it.
But I like the fact that, Guardiola is someone who you've always sort of admired from a distance, but he's come to City and you've fully adopted a Guardiola slander policy, which is to be highly respected, Ed. Your commitment to tribalism has been absolutely unimpeachable.
Yeah. So is Guardiola's commitment to doping. Financial doping. Financial doping. Yeah. Dr. Fuentes, where are you when we need you?
Talking of Guardiola, I need to transition out of Rantcast questions because I'm seriously running out of voice here.
All right. Well, we have hundreds more. Sorry, we didn't get the chance to bring up all the anti-Mourinho stuff that we get on here. We've driven away the Mourinho likers as well as now having a crowd of left-wing commies only.
Well, Trump supporters, Mourinho likers. Anyway,
wow.
I'm not. Listen, I don't actually mean that. Do I mean it a little bit? No. We'll do a bumper show where we do loads and loads of questions and kind of make up for the time we've missed, but I can't do that yet because I'm not really. I shouldn't really be doing this, so I definitely can't do that. But once I'm properly better, we'll do a long show.
Yeah, one funny thing happened on social media. Sometimes people use Rantcast in a hashtag with Fox and Friends. I shit you not. And that has managed to finish Paul off. So look, we've got a game at the weekend. Let's wrap up the show, which is going to be a little short show, and I know we have shortchanged everybody. I think the fact that the auto tweet went out really pissed some people off.
I can't believe you didn't turn it off. That's hilarious.
I just keep forgetting. City at the weekend. I have two fears.
What is one of them? Is one of them that we're going to lose 10-0 and they're going to win the league?
Yeah, well, that's one.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't say that's so much as a fear as an expectation. Not the 10-0, but clearly we could get battered.
Yeah.
I don't expect that to actually happen because I think Mourinho will play a pretty negative form of football in order to make sure that doesn't happen. What I actually fear is United will be pathetic and limp. And really have absolutely no intention of trying to win this game. Will accept a 1 or 2-0 defeat as somehow being, heroic. And Mourinho can play the we can't possibly keep pace with City. Look at all the money they've spent card. That's what I think will happen.
It's funny that he can. It's funny that he's playing that card when we've spent unearthly fortunes.
About 90 or so million less than City, but we did get a couple of players in Zlatan and Sanchez on free transfers.
Now, what do you reckon if those people were under contract, the combined total of those fees would have been? Let's say
fairly high.
Yeah,
fairly high.
So Zlatan's age 10 to 20 million. Alexis 50 to 70.
Well, City bid 60 and had it accepted. He said they couldn't get the paperwork done last summer. So
there you go. So we're pretty quickly that's adding up to 90 million.
Yeah, you see how we turned the preview of the City game into a bit more Mourinho bashing. It's impressive stuff, that one. How do you think it'll go?
I'm so fed up with not liking the United manager. I'm just really fed up with it. I don't like I don't like listening to us moan about Mourinho. I don't enjoy doing it. I don't enjoy listening to it. It's just analysis. I don't see another way to analyse what's happening. So I think there's every chance that he'll pull something off in this game. Every chance of sort of 1-0 win to us. You've got to imagine that United's level of motivation here should be a little higher than City's, because the prize for City is winning the league today when they're going to definitely win the league a week later if they don't win it today. Or maybe even, I don't know if they've got a game in midweek or whatever. Guardiola was even talking about resting players because they've obviously got a big Champions League game, and a tough one at that, given that Liverpool are the one team that have beaten them in the league this season. Or maybe they lost to someone else as well. But anyway, one of the few teams to have beaten them. How do I say it? I don't know. One of two ways, right? We defend ferociously and score 1 and win 1-0, or City kind of brush us aside because we can't get it together to form the kind of Mourinho wall that we should. But the performance against Liverpool and Chelsea kind of made me think we probably have got to a point where we can do that. This was a long ramble that doesn't really answer the question. I don't know how it's going to go. I've got no idea. What do you think?
I think we will be pretty defensive. City do have a high press. I don't think we're good enough at the back to play our way out. So we'll be pretty defensive and play fairly direct. I wouldn't be surprised if Fellaini came into the side for Pogba.
I would. He hasn't started Fellaini since
he hasn't started the game, but and Mourinho knows that he can play that. Under the assumption that he can play there's no way anyone could keep pace with City card. Look how much money they've spent, and that he'll have his armies of probable Russian bots out there trolling for him, saying, do you expect him to play any other way? We'd get, absolutely battered unless we defend. So.
Talking of Russian bots, of course, Jose Mourinho is signing up with RT to do. Interesting. Can I just
the state propaganda arm of?
Can I just request that we make absolutely no comment about this, Ed? just for various reasons, for what can only be described as various reasons.
No, it's interesting, isn't it? Maybe Saturday's game is Human Rights FC versus Human Rights FC.
I'm just out of context. This is apropos of nothing. I've just got the word despicable in my head for some reason. Just the word despicable. Totally tone deaf to global events. How's that? Just out of nowhere, I just thought that thought. It's not related to what we were just talking about, to be absolutely clear. Just something out of nowhere, the words despicable and tone deaf to global events just popped into my head separately.
Do Do you think that your illness might have been a preemptive strike?
Oh, God. I cannot laugh. Absolutely can't laugh.
Nerve agent or polonium? That's the big question.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, good old Jose Mourinho. Good old, reliably decent human Jose Mourinho. I guess I'm going to predict a 1-1 draw out of hope for this game.
Very good. Who's going to score United's goal?
Jesse Lingard.
Of course.
Lineup. De Gea. Well, a really interesting question about central defence. He's gone with Smalling and Lindelof a lot recently, hasn't he?
He has. I mean, how fit is Bailly? He was on the bench at the weekend. You know, if he's fit, he's got to play.
He has, but then does he drop Smalling? It's like Smalling's been playing all right, hasn't he?
He's playing all right, but he can't pass the ball for toffee.
No, that's true.
And that is a problem against the high press.
Yeah.
Unless United really are going to launch it, and I was being slightly facetious. I mean, I do expect us to go a little direct. I mean, you know, I'd be tempted to go with Bailly and Lindelof.
Yeah. And then
just to try and keep the ball.
Obviously, Ashley Young at left back, Valencia at right back. You wonder
the question: 2 or 3 in midfield.
Yeah,
you know, Matic and McTominay, I think, are guaranteed starters. Fellaini or Pogba is the question.
What a world! What a world! Scott McTominay's a guaranteed starter, and Paul Pogba isn't.
Well, he's definitely going to want some protection in there. I mean, look, there's a legitimacy to that in a sense that
100%.
He cannot expect Paul Pogba to hold his position and play a defensive role in a game of this magnitude, and nor should he.
No.
Need to, and that's the problem, right? You know, so people do see that debate in two ways. Yeah, we didn't really get into this, but you know, Pogba should be able to play anywhere. A man of his, you know, quality and you know, remuneration versus just playing where he's going to be most effective.
Yeah.
And Mourinho tends to see it the first way around.
Don't buy an 89 million pound. I don't know.
Creative player and then ask him to hold.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a metaphor involving tools, but I'm not very handy. But don't buy a drill and then use it to use the butt of it to bash a nail into a wall. You know, use the hammer to bash the nail into the wall and use the drill to drill the hole into the wall. You know, that's my tortured metaphor. Don't buy an 89 million pound creative midfielder and use him to hold, as you might say, Ed. It lacks a certain poetry, but you can't deny it has a certain accuracy to this particular situation.
Yeah. So I think that it is a big question. I mean, you could go with Lingard at 10, drop Pogba altogether, which is
I think he goes
real option.
I think he goes McTominay, Pogba, Matic, Alexis, Lukaku, Lingard. I think that might be what he does.
And Mata gets sacrificed.
Yeah, as does Martial and Rashford.
Yeah, could be. We
shall see.
Hey, look, it could be worse. We could have Alan Pardiola in charge.
He's gone again. At least enough people beat City that we don't have to give them a guard of honour. I think it would be worse to give them a guard of honour than them beat us to win the league. Would it? Neither of them sound great, to be honest. At least,
maybe give them a guard of honour off the pitch if they win.
I tell you what, at least it's at the Etihad, not Old Trafford. There you go. There's some pathetic consolation for the dismal situation we find ourselves in.
All right, I'm just going off to top myself with some polonium I've had kept in storage.
It's only football. I mean, apart from all the other absolutely, genuinely terrible things we've touched on during the course of the show, the Mourinho stuff, it's only football.
It is, and this was only a podcast.
Yeah.
First one in a month. We are deeply sorry that Paul's anti-Russian tirades on,
no,
Putin cast.
Disagree.
Had him poisoned.
Crank corner.
And he was out for a month. Yeah. Hopefully we're back now and he doesn't catch something else.
Yeah. Hopefully I'll be back next week after the City game. To be honest, I'm not promising, but hopefully that will be the case. Apologies, I've not been able to do the show. But we should be back on track for the rest of the season, and certainly any concerns about the Rantcast's long-term future, no, there's no worries about that. We were here before Jose Mourinho, and we'll be here after him. Gosh darn it!
Yeah. Unlike the website, I haven't posted in ages because I've been so insanely busy since we last recorded. I've been in Paris twice, Berlin, Barcelona, Boston, Atlanta, New York.
That's pretty amazing.
I'm sure there's been somewhere else in between.
In fact, I think we missed the show before I got ill because of you. I think that has even longer extended our sabbatical. So you get at least like 10% of the blame. Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Anyway, thanks for listening, and we will see you after the City game.
Yeah, come on, you Reds. The Rantcast is brought to you by the good people who choose to back us at patreon.com/Rantcast. This week on the Patreon Backers special, we talked a little bit about the World Cup. I'm just throwing darts into a dartboard. Poland, Senegal, Colombia, Japan. I'm going for Senegal and Colombia because I like their flags. Mind you, the Japanese flag and the Polish. You can't argue with any of the flags in that group. That is maybe the strongest group flag-wise. It's a big shout, though, actually. Cause
that is a big shout. It's a big shout. A lot of red and white and yellow and red. Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit of blue, some green.
What's your favourite flag? I'm quite partial to the Panama flag.
Yeah, out of all the teams in the World Cup, I have to say the Brazil flag is an absolute banger, in it. Like you can't mess with the Brazil flag. It is a total bona fide classic. But yeah, that Panama's got like there's a degree of funk to the Panama flag. It's like it is a funky flag, but not in an over busy way.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.